Well, you know what they say about being a Preston fan? The thing that hurts the most is the belief. Always believe, never achieve. Welcome back to Matchday Report, everyone. Preston North End versus Swansea City. This one's been a bit heated online on Twitter and all over the interwebs, simply because of what happened at the end of the game, and that was obviously a brawl, so to speak. But we'll discuss that. Hey, excuse me, still poorly. We'll discuss that in just a moment. Let's take a look, shall we? The first half had Preston North End nowhere near the game as we played far too high up the pitch, making any counter a freebie for Swansea as they slotted 3 past us. The second half saw necessary lineup changes that helped us get 2 goals back before a fight broke out after unprofessional behaviour from Swansea that delayed the game and let them break our momentum, opening us up to a 4th goal from them. So, taking a look at the statistics for just a minute. Of course, they had 12 shots, 7 on target. We had 6 to 2, and those 2 did go in. Now, the game plan seemed relatively clear. We looked like we wanted to play high up the pitch in order to try and break through on goal as much as possible and as fast as possible. But the problem, and that's because Swansea are a possessive team, we want to try and make the most of the time with the ball, as far as I can picture it in my head, that being the game plan anyway. But That's about it. We just wanted to try and rob them of the ball whenever possible and make the most of it. But the reason why it doesn't work out so well is because we play Liam Lindsay at the centre-back, who's got no pace compared to Bambo Diaby. There's no way anyone's getting back in time, and that's the big problem. And that's why we, of course, lost our man numerous times, and they got through on goal. But aside that, when we come to the second half, we made the change. Diaby came on. Centre-back defending became a bit better. And all that lovely stuff. We were a bit more resolute in terms of the push and the pressure, and yeah, eventually the goals came through, and that's what it's all about. You know, we just had the wrong idea, and by the time we found the right idea with what were going on the pitch, things just got a bit too hectic for it to continue that way. But yeah, player ratings. Woodman a 5. Will have been stood there in utter disbelief as Swansea tore Preston apart in the first half. Little he could do about the goals. Kept Pirot's powerful strike out with a reflex save, which were a good save. Story of 4, culpable for the disastrous first half showing in which Swansea caused the defence massive problems. 1 of 3 players replaced at the break, and understandably so. Lindsay a 4, Piori had the ball, the better of him in the first half. Scott made way at the same time. Story picked up a booking and looked to be struggling physically. Hughes a 5, the entire back 3 were carved open in the first half route. Hughes tried to secure things and offer support going forward, but it was to no avail. Stuck to his task in the second half and improved a bit. Potts a 5, on and off night for the number 44. Final pass and cross was lacking. Swansea carried a threat down the flanks. I don't think he carried it as much as he normally did either, and he had some bad moments as well. Whiteman a 4, taken over at half time. It was absolutely shocking. Dispossessed a couple of times, couldn't assert control. His passes were awful, his control were awful. He was the worst player on the pitch. It was absolutely horrendous, and that's rare from Whiteman. Ledson a 5, seemed to lose the ball a lot in the first half, and Swansea cut through the middle of the pitch with ease. Kept getting stuck in and battling away. Johnson a 6, pressed with purpose at the right times while probing in possession. There were some off moments, but one of the better performers on the night and provided the assist for Parrott. Fernandez a 6, was dynamic and positive down the left, looking to drive at Swansea and ask the questions. Mopped up defensively a few times, but we're disappointed with the goals. Drilled a shot into the side netting in the second half. I wouldn't even bother mentioning that because it wasn't really much of anything. It was just a bit of a fuck it, why not? And it was just poor angle. And because the lad's got no right foot, it was just poor. And Delap a 4, struggled to keep himself in the game, or get himself in the game, with Swansea's defenders dominating physically and keeping him quiet. His touch was poor, his control was poor, his dribbling's poor, he has no pace. Again, he's valued at 18 million. I wouldn't pay 18 pence. It's poor, very poor. Cannon a 6, improved in the second, got a goal. As poor as Preston were, he kept hunting for chances. Substitutes Diaby a 6, which on and read danger well with his recovery pace, helping North End to get got tight to his men and improved the team. McCann a 6, a boost to get him back on the pitch. Got his foot on the ball quickly, played his passes throughout, and he'd made important passes in possession and all that. Parrott a 7, nice touches off the bench, took his goal exceptionally well. Yeah, 1 touch, 1 goal, and everything else he did after that were fantastic. So well done to the lad. Brady a 5, played out on the right, and his cross led to Cannon's goal. Good cross. asked questions in the final third, but his square pass led to Swansea killing the game, which is the second time Brady has done that. Then Onoma was introduced in injury time, which is a player that should have been starting the game realistically, but we move. Now, there is no post-match interview because Ryan Law refused to speak to the media, and he refused to let players speak to the media as well. So now it's mainly just going to be my opinions on the altercation, and we will go to Twitter to try and find some footage of the altercation, which I'm positive we'll find. Okay, interesting there. An hour ago from BBC Sport Lancashire is that the FA is looking into the incident, and Ryan Ledson has spoken to the media regarding the incident, and he's basically just been asked questions like, "Do you regret it?" You know, and all the silly things like that. This not asking any questions regarding the incident, like what happened or who was involved. It's just a case of, do you regret what happened? And Ledson doesn't give a fuck. Clearly, he's just like, yeah, no, we'll move on to the weekend. We'll beat Blackburn and yeah, all that stuff. So nothing news-wise is important at the minute, but footage-wise, if we can get, I've already found footage, but I'm just trying to get a better angle. But it doesn't look like we are getting a better angle. Oh, what's this? Preston North End would like to offer clarity with regards to post-match press conference obligations following the Swansea City match. Ryan Law did not appear for his post-match press conference following Wednesday's fixture, having taken instructions from the club not to do so. Emotions were running high. Okay, fair enough then. But yeah, this is the video. So I've been trying to slow it down as much as possible over the last couple of hours to see what's actually gone on. Of course, as Ledson said, the incident was he's won a header and a Swansea player's gone down holding his head to try and delay the game, of course. And that's when it's kicked off. As you can see, there's already a huddle. And I'm going to imagine it's Ryan Law going crazy at either the players or the referee for blowing the whistle. Regardless, he's lost his head. And people have tried to calm him down, and it's kicked off further. That's when, of course, Alvaro's noticed, and he's gone sprinting to help. Same with Diaby and Cannon, to try and break it up because the gaffer is in the middle of all this and he's trying to be pulled away from it. Not too sure what's going on there with Bauer. But yeah, no, gaffer's in there and he's trying to be pulled away. And then if you look at the bottom of your screen, someone's trying to start on Alvaro for no apparent reason, and that's when another scuffle begins. So yeah, big scenes. But as far as I'm aware, from what I could see, the most fighting action that came up was Ryan Law potentially shoved, slapped or punched Joe Allen, but that's just speculation / my eyes playing tricks on me by the looks of things. But again, it is what it is essentially. But yeah, in terms of my thoughts on the incident, was it necessary? No. Was it something Ryan Law should have done? Absolutely not, because he's now going to be finishing the season off the touchline, which is a shame. But again, it is what it is, really. Made no difference to the match, really, but because the game was already, it wasn't gone. We was finding our momentum. So actually, yeah, it did make a difference because we were finding our momentum. You could argue we could have nicked a goal back to make it square, and they've just started to waste as much time as possible. And it's obviously bubbled and boiled after, you know, Joe Allen's been a wind-up and number 22 being a wind-up. So yeah, it's bubbled and boiled to the point this has had to happen. So yeah, shame, but it is what it is. But regardless, points to make. We was far too poor in the first half, probably the poorest we've been all season, definitely in contention. Individual performers such as Whiteman and Potts and Story and Lindsay were poor, but then you've got performers like Cannon and Parrott and McCann. They were all brilliant, same with Johnson. So pros, we had good goals to make it level, McCann being back in the side, and the cons is the awful first half, players having shockers like I mentioned, and Ryan Law's red card. So it is what it is, simply. That's all I can state. Move on, 3 games left. Blackburn, Sheffield and Sunderland. Big games. And if we don't win all 3, then we are not making the playoffs. So, yeah, so if this next Matchday report doesn't have a positive title, you already know the playoffs ain't us, boss. But yeah, thanks all for watching. In the description, yeah, I'll have linked a channel called The Real Jack Army, which is a Swansea channel. They're going to be posting their views on the situation. I feature on that channel quite often regarding Preston predictions or other forms of predictions regarding Swansea. So yeah, I'll be appearing in their video regarding this clash, so make sure to keep your eyes peeled for that. And yeah, I will see you all at the weekend for Blackburn.